Setting up for YouTube Live.
Have you started?
No.
No.
All
Okay.
right, so we are now online. Welcome everybody to our workshop on the board plan priorities. We've got Bailey who will facilitate this workshop. Take it away.
Kia ora koutou, thank you. So yes, the purpose of this workshop is to discuss with the board the feedback from the submitters for the draft community board plan, which was out for consultation last month. The next steps will be for the community board plan to come to the board's 12th of May meeting for approval. So at the end of this workshop, what I would like is to have direction from the board on any, if there are any changes, feedback to the board plan, so I can prepare that to come back to you next month. So we can talk about wording, but it's not necessarily, we don't have to go down to that level of, going through the whole plan and looking at the wording for everything, but just a check-in with the feedback that we had. Are there any changes or inclusions that we would like in the board plan? And then I can circulate with you before I bring it to you for adoption next month. So we had 23 submissions, which actually is okay for a community board plan. Like historically, we haven't had much engagement. There are other community boards who had a little bit more than us this time around, but I guess across the city, there was definitely more engagement with the board plans. So we had 15 individuals and 8 organisations. So you would have seen those, but I'll just list out the organisations we had. So it was Halswell United, Hornby Men's Shed, Hornby Men's Shed Committee, Play Preservation Trust, Place Cadets Trust, Halswell Residents Association, Halswell Community Project Committee, and Spokes. Overall, the feedback, there was really strong support for the board's vision. So I think that was quite clear in all of the submissions, that a vision which sits separately to the 9 priorities, there was really strong support for. The priorities as a whole also, I would say there was quite good, above average support. There were definitely some submissions that were quite clear that they didn't support a single priority, and those were different for some of those submitters, but there wasn't necessarily really strong disagreement to any of the priorities. I think what was really clear from some of the submitters, although I think one of the strongest themes was the perceived disconnect between the vision and then the priorities. So our vision was overall supported really well. Some submitters suggesting that what the priorities were, although they didn't necessarily always disagree with them, but strategically did they connect with what the vision was. So I think that was the main thing that I wanted us to discuss today, and hopefully everyone's had a look at some of that, the submissions on there, with the theme around the missing piece being around community wellbeing, supporting those key community organisations. Some of the feedback spoke to the community visions that the community organisations work with the governance team, and when we first developed the priorities, those draft visions, and it was quite literally at the end of their workshop, were shared with the board. I think a piece of that is the communication of us as a staff, to making sure that the community organisations understood that their visions are theirs separate to the community board plan. So although a piece of them developing their community visions is the feedback to the community board. It's not, those don't serve only to feed into the community board plan. They also sit and stand on their own and are for those communities to deliver and work together to also achieve their outcomes. So it's not solely, I guess, reliant on the community boards to deliver those outcomes. So missing priorities around community connections, social infrastructure and wellbeing. And then you had some feedback around this priority is too narrow, but then on the other hand, you have this priority is very broad. So I'll hand it over to you guys to get some feedback on how you saw the submissions and if any suggestions or direction for me from here.
All right. Welcome, Sarah. I see you're finally back.
Hello.
Yes, we got just for your info, Sarah, you can see everybody here. We've also got Helen and Debbie online video. So
I just missed the first part of what you were saying, Bailey.
just summarizing the submissions. And so now it's she's asking for some direction from the board. Any suggestions you'd like to raise?
Well, it sounds like everyone's a bit shy, so I guess I'll kick it off. I mean, first things first for, I mean, taking Halswell as an example, the community stakeholder day that we had, it's like the number one thing that came across, it was transport, and it was on the big bit of paper, transport, big circle around it. That was the key thing, which is obvious for a growth area. So, naturally, I disagree with any feedback that the feedback from that session has been incorporated because transport was the number one thing. But what does transport mean? It's like connecting communities. Great. How do we do that? You need actual tangible things. All the sort of broad things that we've had in our community board plan in the past have not delivered results. The wider reaching they were, the less results we got out of them, has been my observation. So, in my view, we need to be, well, certainly I believe we need to be in Halswell really specific with the projects to get things into a long-term plan, an annual plan, or even operational budget that aren't there currently. If they're already in there some way or the other, making it a priority or putting on the list doesn't mean it happens faster or that we actually get priority as a ward or board. Footpath budget, I think, was a pretty good example of that. It was a priority for the Halswell ward, but that didn't make any difference to how staff staggered the 74 paths. It became a citywide budget and prioritised according to the data sets that they used. So that being our priority didn't actually make a difference in the end. So I think at the end of the day, these are ultimately just words. They only carry so much meaning. And we have to be really, I guess, strategic about how we use them. In my view, if there are things that I know need to be done, nuts and bolts stuff are going to need to be done in the community, and they're not in the long-term plan or budgeted for currently, whereas we need to get them in there somewhere to start collecting development contributions for them, I see this as an opportunity to make note of them and use those as leverage to then try and get in an annual long-term plan. If we put broad meaning things in there, then they're not going to get us anything that we wouldn't have already had. So, yeah, I guess that's where I'm at. In terms of the vision and the 9 individual things, though, I'm wondering if we should, have a vision that sort of covers the wider board area and what our priorities are, which is always, much of it community focused as a community board, and things we can do for managing growth and social isolation and
acknowledging the community's priorities or vision.
Yeah, well, that's right.
That come up with.
But I wonder if our 9 separate individual things, we should be noting these as specific projects needing progress, and then we're putting out a plan. So each ward's identifying 3, and we're noting as part of that, where are they at currently? Is it something that's potentially in the pipeline, or is it something that doesn't exist in any budget whatsoever? I think that would be a sensible way to do it. So maybe even changing from priorities to identified projects requiring progress. Yeah, I'm going to be curious to know what others think of that. But it sounds like the community who provide their feedback are a bit confused as to how we're piecing these things together. Certainly, I'm wanting to identify really basic, boring things that I know need to get in that long-term plan that aren't there currently, and wanted to use this opportunity to get that. So,
and I think there was this
Yeah.
misunderstanding about the priorities or the projects that we've listed. Those are the ones that we're going to be working on only for the next 3 years, which is not.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it reads. It's like, oh, well,
Yeah, exactly.
what about this? It's like, well, hold on, no, we're doing that as well. There's only 3 things. So I wonder if there's a better way we could word it. And that these are 3 identified things in addition to our vision, our vision priorities.
And in addition to what we also normally do.
Yeah.
On the side.
And it's like, but those individual projects can also state how they support those visions. Like, it's all well and good to have visions, better connected communities. Cool. So what are we actually going to put in to fix that?
Yeah. Example, that's the men's sheet.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at the consultation only, so all we put up was the vision and the priorities. This is what the board plan is, a little blurb about that, and these are the 9 identified for this term. So if you're only looking at that, then some of the feedback, really was responding to only that. When we put it in the board plan, we put it in a nice, document. We include information about the community funding, information about the governance teams, which has a more of a bigger picture of some of the work the community board do. So we can be more explicit and connecting.
If I could talk, I'm not quite sure how to talk on this, but I actually think having the 3 items or 3 projects per ward is quite good. But I agree with Andre, actually. If we're specific, then it means that council staff and we focus on particularly on those 3 issues per ward. It doesn't mean they all get done, but it does mean a focus on them. And I thought it worked reasonably well last term, actually. And I guess the only comment I'll make reading submissions that they mainly miss all the questions asked and just go in only on the issues that they're most concerned about. So in one way we don't get a full picture, but into another way we get people being very specific, so, which can be good too, actually. But I was amazed they didn't fill out more of those questions. Yeah, it was very much, this is what we think, what spokes want, this is what we think, basically. It wasn't handling those broader questions at all.
I think the thing that we have to consider with that, Helen, is especially in Hornby, so we've got our community boards plan, we've got an annual plan at both City Council and ECAN, and then for Hornby we actually got 3 plans within planning for Hornby for ECAN, Council and NZTA. So we're asking people for a lot, and for example, I don't think I saw one from the GHRA in here, for example, but I imagine that they probably have done one for the annual plan. So we've seen that. And it's hard because, if most of the things I have seen in here are transport related and likely will be covered by that planning for Hornby. So there is some risk that we do duplicate that work, but I think it is still a very good idea from Andre to call out what are those 3 most important things.
Yeah, for me, it's being able to actually measure the progress and outcome. Because
yes, I agree.
Yeah, because we had community safety as one in the past, and you end up at the end term. Okay, we had a meeting at some point, someplace, but when you've got actual real specific things like Hornby Master Plan, guess what? Now there's a Hornby Master Plan underway. Yes, you can actually track the progress. You're either getting a master plan or you're not. It's like Yeah, so being able to measure those 9 items to me is the most important part. Yeah. Otherwise you end up with a few, incremental things you might have done on that vague topic after 3 years, but yeah.
Bailey, can we have up on the screen, if you have it, please, what were the priorities that we had? Because I couldn't find it on the website just now.
The 9.
Yeah.
Even on the consultation, it's hard to get into those.
Yeah, they're not on that. They're not on the agenda.
Okay. Did you find that?
did have it.
I got that from the link in the
Let me.
agenda.
Okay.
Oh, and just as a heads up as well. So for some reason, I was under the impression that we were going to consult on 4 items as Halswell, with Cashman Road being one of them. That's totally my fault. I'm not checking that. That we were just consulting on the 3. So it was totally my fault and my misunderstanding, not anything.
Is there a problem?
I'll put it on the no, I'm just sending it through to Faye.
Oh, it's okay. I just found it. Yeah, sorry, it's just saying.
I'm
Was
just
there a
putting up
problem
on
with
the
fourth
screen.
one, or I don't know.
No, it's just I needed it to be there to properly gauge the feedback.
Okay. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
No, that was the 4th, so we only consulted on 3.
Yeah. So I felt uncomfortable going out
Right.
and getting heaps of feedback on 3
Mhm.
when arguably probably the most important one wasn't in there. Which again, totally my fault. But yeah, I'd be uncomfortable going out with Cashman Road not in there. The situation there is quite dire, and it's not on the long-term plan.
No, but fair enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, just as a heads up to preempt
Yeah.
the rest of the meeting. Yeah.
Next time, yeah, we can do it differently.
Yeah.
By all means.
I mean, for example, I didn't see anything in there about Park Street, Waterloo, Gilberthorpe, or I think it was
Because
one-
there's already an existing project for that, isn't it?
No, there
No,
isn't.
there's not. No, and the GHRA was saying that was
Oh,
their
that was the
top
number one.
indicator.
Yeah.
And then the
Oh, yeah.
top pedestrian connection was a Woolworths corner, and I think there was 1 or 2 people in there that said about that.
A lot of that was potentially hiding under the transport improvements,
Yeah.
because there are a number of bullet points under that
Yeah.
that had each of those projects.
Yeah.
But we may need to be more specific. Instead of transport improvements, we have Waterloo, Gilberthorpe, Parker intersection as a priority.
But also we've heard from like 10 people and they did a survey with probably hundreds of people, right?
Yeah.
So that's,
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where it's frustrating. They haven't put into this as a submission. I
Yeah.
mean, they've polled their people. They've got priorities set from their people, but they haven't put into the
but
submission on this, which is frustrating.
yeah, but we can use this feedback and
Yeah.
all feedback.
Yeah.
So there were some things that came through the feedback, like around wording, or so for example, that CBD revitalisation, which was how the priority was drafted. So what we went out with, but actually, like, is that the CBD of Riccarton, or do we be more specific on actually describe what that means more? It's not, is it
Even Church Corner, for example.
Yes, yeah. So there will be some slight changes around wording or better descriptions that came through the feedback that I will change, but they're not kind of really changing the crux of what those priorities mean.
The content.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, you could probably tweak it instead of saying CBD to say business areas.
Yes,
And that would
yeah.
probably cover it, for example.
Yeah.
So, Andre, do you think it would be helpful to include, so we've got our vision statements here and what the
Yeah.
board's doing, and to have another paragraph in there,
Yeah.
sort of connecting the two and saying, in
Yeah.
line with the vision or whatever, the board has identified priorities that it considers to be, what did we say?
I would say projects rather than priorities.
Yeah, okay.
They are. Yeah.
Those have always been used in the past.
Yeah, I know this is a big spanner in the works.
Yeah.
But it is confusing.
But there isn't actually any
Yeah.
explanation of what they are or where they've come from, is there?
True.
It's in the document.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we put a paragraph in there,
Yeah.
it would be helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess to explain what's what this whole list is about.
Yeah, I will use priority just to put something.
Yeah,
in
So we
there.
can,
We know that,
Board of
not necessarily the words,
Yeah. Each term, the board identify, 3 individual projects per ward, requiring progress.
yeah.
But also, like, I think what's potentially been problematic is the word priority in those individual ward ones. It's like, remember last time it was they weren't in any particular order, but the first one on the list happened to be fenced dog park, and it's like, oh, how's this more a priority than water? It's not.
Yes.
But
priorities.
They're not ranked
so
in order.
maybe I'm getting caught up in wording, but in terms of how we present this entire thing, we've got priority vision outlining our priorities and projects to individual projects that have been identified in progress. Seems like the best way to explain it to the public to me. But tell me if you think otherwise. But that's my feeling. I think we've been getting a little bit caught up over the years in those priority words in those 9.
But then there was also that concern from the submissions about, the social connectedness we talked about when we were drafting these priorities. But then we said that they were actually business as usual, and we're providing funds already and strengthening communities funds and all that. So we need
So
mention that.
that kind of, the explanation of the priorities needs to explain also how it links to the vision and current works.
Business
Business
as usual, current work programs.
In no way is limited to these things.
Yes.
And that our work as a board is not, limited to just these things, because like for Halswell or Hornby or Riccarton, we have 3 priority projects, and the assumption is that we're only working on those 3, but in fact, we're doing more than that. But these are the ones that are important to get into the LTP.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's important for staff to focus on them too, because I think it has worked better having the 3 projects per ward. I think staff are focused on those in particular. So I think it's important to have them, but if you want to make it broader too, that's fine in terms of priorities, I guess. You have I actually agree with Andre. We should have priorities and then 3 specific projects, because it does focus everybody.
Yeah, well, we just want to emphasize also that we are not neglecting the other
Oh, I
parts.
realise that, yes. I think it's
especially like the social connectedness and all that.
Was this circulated to us? I don't recall.
All of the draft priorities, So
No, this
That one,
specific document.
This is that document.
Yeah.
so
agenda.
what went out to prior to consultation, it was shared with you all.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
Email for a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, this should have been attached to the info session. Yeah. But so nothing's changed from the the ones that we gave to you with
Because
consultation.
I think it was on the website, just looked a bit different, perhaps.
Yeah, so the measures of success aren't consulted on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is good though, because we can be quite specific with that as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, up to each ward how specific they want to be, but my biggest learning so far is that being non-specific just has not it's not got outcomes.
Yes. And that's certainly one of the things we've taken as one of our priorities is to being shared. We've got to get it home.
Pretty specific.
We can tick that off as it happens.
Yeah.
And then I understand you can also then add in a new priority once that's been ticked off.
Yeah.
So you can then have another focus.
We can have a number 4.
If it only takes a year to get the first priority, not a problem. Slot in the next one.
Yeah.
Keep the priority going.
I think we've seen in Yildiris might be more than a year.
And Halswell gets all 3 in the next LTP.
Yeah.
Well, just for the go for ourselves, what my hope is to get real boring transport things in the long-term plan for like in 10 years' time. Because they might not be needed tomorrow. Catchmere Road's needed tomorrow, but like the others, it's like we know we're going to need them eventually, so we should start collecting DCs for them now. Again, they're really boring things, but they're not in there now. And then it's like, but like we've had to come here and play catch up on things like Amy's and Springs because they weren't in the long-term plan, 10 years ago. So no DC has been collected towards it.
What worries me is next year's LTP, we're likely to be trying to make it right sized. So therefore, a lot of that stuff that was previously in the years 8, 9, 10, are just sitting there as projects, collecting DCs and lining up for future.
Yeah.
They may get dropped out of the plan into, the never land of year 20 to 30 or something. And therefore you can't actually be doing collecting DCs. So we're going to have to have a pretty interesting LTP next year.
Yeah, but they won't take things out though if they're currently collecting DCs.
I know. That's well, they try to do it with Aotearoa Springs.
Yeah, but even still, they're still helpful to at least have in there.
Yes, they are.
Because it's still a commitment, right?
Yes.
It's like, otherwise you collect DCs and you don't want to cancel the project because you have to go get the DCs like we had today.
We've got to find a way
Right,
to the outer years of the LTP.
Yeah.
They're still there. You can collect DCs on them, but it's not blowing out the rates increases and exceptions.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is that helpful?
Yeah.
So we've got, if it's growth related, it should be funded by growth.
Well, unless anyone online has anything else they would like to add, what I'm hearing is we don't want any changes to any of the priorities that we consulted on.
Well, me personally, for me, it's Cashmere Road needs to be there.
In there.
Oh, you want to have that one
Well,
added?
it's more urgent than any of the others.
Oh, yeah, sorry, okay.
So for me, it'll be.
It would be a good priority to have so the council can then,
Yeah.
this is a priority, and it gives it fast track into the LTP.
For me, again, I haven't spoken with Marie and Debbie, but for me personally, it's Cashmere Road and then Dunbar's Road and.
Isn't that going to get done though anyway? It is a
Which
huge
Which one, Debbie?
Cashmere Road.
No, there's no budget whatsoever. It's not.
I mean, at present, Cashmere Road's totally closed. At the
Yeah, so that's a reactive repair to stop properties from being flooded who have been getting absolutely hammered. Like the situation there's getting really, really dire and actually quite dangerous. So the road's barely been open for the last year because it's continual reactive patch ups to stop homes getting flooded and the road from falling apart.
Which part, Andre?
Cashmere Road. I mean, a lot of it's stuff, but in particular between Sutherland's Road and the Quarry Reserve.
So you wanting to add this as a fourth one?
I believe it needs to be one of the three.
Because at the end of the day, that Cashmere Road's going to affect not just Halswell residents; it's affecting everyone who travels around there.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. And there's so much more growth to come around that Cashmere Road as well.
I
So
know.
It doesn't need to be replaced by a All I'm saying is it won't hurt to just add it as a fourth.
No.
What specifically?
We're not going to be able to have a fourth.
Cashmere.
Otherwise, every ward will want a fourth. But
because what I've just said is that it's affecting everybody in the whole of Christchurch. So
Along with Dunbar's.
But what I do know that council's already doing, council already has a budget for the chlorine-free water stations. And if I recall correctly, we had an amendment to some wording in a resolution during the annual plan, which was asking specifically around the southwest. And there's a budget item. And as we heard at council last week, there's, it's going to take decades and potentially, $1 billion to get chlorine out altogether.
Yeah.
So the viable solution that we, may well do and prioritise instead is things like more chlorine-free water stations, or we could be considering subsidised access to filters, this kind of thing.
I'm hearing what you're saying, but if you don't put, I'm thinking of just adding it. Because it encompasses the whole 3 wards. It actually encompasses the whole city, what you're saying.
But Hornby-Riccarton could argue the same things about some of their projects. But what I'm saying is us having the chlorine-free water station as one of those 3 won't get us a station any faster than what I think we would currently. But
putting the Cashmere Road as one of our 3 priorities won't either, would it?
Well, I think it would because it's not currently in the long-term plan. There's currently $0 budget for it. Correct. We're going to spend the next 6 months sorting out the long-term plan. Cashmere Road's not in there. We desperately need to get it in there.
We just tag it along with Dunbar's, like we talked about it before, Dunbar's and Cashmere Road renewal.
I think
it's cheeky,
I think we just
one of the things that they do look at council
maybe
is the community board priorities help set the agenda going into the long-term plan. So in there is one of your priorities. Will aid staff to pick it up and make it a priority into the LTP.
Yeah, I guess Cashmere Road and Dunbar's Road are I'd say the one's really urgent,
Yeah.
and Dunbar's is like, yeah.
Nice to have.
Well,
Because I thought
some of it's pretty stuffed and needs sorted, but it's not like at a dangerous point that Cashmere Road is.
No.
That's literally falling
Cashmere
apart.
Road is
Yeah.
But at least
We-
both of them are there, and then
Yeah.
they'll decide an LTP which one would
Yeah.
have.
There were several people that mentioned
Yeah.
Dunbar's Road specifically. I don't know if there was any for Cashmere. I can't recall.
But at least
But I'm
that's
not
the way of
counting.
putting it in there as
Yeah. Yeah.
to include Cashmere.
So I have the
But as we said before, when we were talking about the three priorities, we were saying that water station, which won't cost much because we've already got the pipe work, that's an easy win. Whereas, and I agree with you about Cashmere Road, it needs to be done. But we were after 3 easy wins. Is Cashmere Road, I don't think it will be neglected.
So me personally, I'm not after easy wins. I'm after future-proofing stuff that I know is going to be absolutely critical to the roading network.
Oh,
That
sorry,
would-
I misunderstood what you were saying then
Yeah,
when we were
it would-
setting our
yeah.
our threes. I thought you were saying
Yeah.
at that time that this is an easy one. So if you
It
change
is an easy win. No, you're 100% right. I just believe it's an easy win, but it shouldn't need to be here to get a win on it.
Yeah.
Because there's already a budget and there's already a resolution that's been
Yeah, well-
asking for it. Like they're already.
yeah, I knew it was
they're
in the
already identifying
budget, but
site.
how soon
Yeah.
in the budget? And I suppose it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Do you know when that's in the budget? Because I do know what you're saying.
Some funding for this financial year and next. But as for how many they'll be delivering this year and next, I couldn't tell you. We need to get
Because
an
it has
update.
been earmarked. I know, I remember you talking about that because we got one in the east, one in Burnside, and then they were thinking one over here.
I can resend the advice that went out to
Oh, yeah.
everyone on that.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
water.
have you got that?
You've got
That would be great.
There was a memo that went to everyone.
Let me
Yeah,
some
it
point
was
around
from memory.
let me jog my memory.
We are working on this.
Yeah.
It might take a
Yeah.
while, but we're on it, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
That was the gist
Working
of
on
it, I
what,
think.
Faye?
Well, identifying other opportunities for chlorine-free
Water station.
water stations.
Yeah,
Oh,
and like council may well be able to go through a program of work identifying not just access to stations, but like, where the bulk buying and offering cheaper access to filters and things like the possibilities are endless. But unless the government changes the law, we're not going to be able to get chlorine out of the water. So it appears likely we need to change tack on that. And I'm really quite certain that having it as one of our 3 won't really change anything for us. We should be getting access to it here soon anyway.
yeah, it'll happen anyway, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's
not
that's
asking
something
for-
that the Hornby members will want to have access to on our side as well.
Every ward's going to want one.
Yeah, so one smack bang with easy access for Halswell-Hornby-Riccarton. It's kind of what we want and need there.
Stick on
So
it.
it's not really a Halswell specific ask anyway.
Stick one at Denton.
No, I'm happy with that, Andre.
Noted.
Software.
So replacing the chlorine-free water station priority with Cashmere Road.
Well, if we can word it a little bit
more?
different.
If
we
we have the wording, because it was one of the 4 that they initially drafted.
Okay,
so
we've got
it'll
wording.
just
Okay,
be-
thank you. Yep.
If we can word it along the lines, Faye, something like, as we're aware that it's in the pipeline anyway for another chlorine-free water station.
Well, it wouldn't be included
At all.
Okay.
at all.
But what
Oh,
And
you're
then-
sending us out some data on that anyway, aren't you, Bailey?
Oh yeah, I have.
what about in our visions? Because it's a board wide thing.
Mhm.
What about in our visions and communities' access to?
A chlorine-free water station in each ward.
Yeah, well, safe drinking water or
Well-
something to that effect.
And we'd be happy at present with 1 per board, wouldn't we? To start with, so
Well, right now, any in the southwest would be a big improvement
Yeah.
to having none anywhere near.
yes,
But,
I know.
I mean, that's why it has been earmarked for the southwest, Helen.
I know.
Because there's one in the east, one at Burnside Park, which I travel to regularly. But it would be great to have it southwest. It may not be at one of the water stations here, but we will need to leave that up to council. But with this change, Andre, how soon do you think this Cashmere Road will be done? Is it one of our 3 priorities? Because it's an expensive priority, isn't it? And I know it needs to be done.
I don't think they're actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, really hard to say, but I mean, we've got a long-term plan that we basically will have pieced together in the next 6 months. So right now, it's like we've got 6 months to get projects in or out the long-term plan, and then that's it for 3 years. So yeah, it's a pretty critical time. If things don't get into this long-term plan, it's going to be a long time until they happen, particularly as we may end up merging with Selwyn and Waimak. We may end up a unitary authority. Like as I see it, what doesn't go into this long-term plan, you know,
It's gonna drag.
yeah, I'd have real concerns about happening.
You
But
don't want to sacrifice Cashmere for this, Debbie, I think. People would not.
Pardon?
People will not forgive you for sacrificing Cashmere for this, I think. If it's as important as Andre says, then, you know, you have to go with it.
I've already said I'm happy to go with that 5 minutes ago, Cody.
Yeah, okay, so I've noted that down, kind of spoken to some of the feedback that, you know, people's submitters are talking about community connection, but actually transport plays a really important part in that we want to continue to be really strategic with the goals and make sure that they are measurable and not kind of too broad that we can't see when we have achieved those. Continue to have the vision and we'll make sure that it speaks about managing growth, social isolation, acknowledge the community visions and supporting them to achieve those, adding something in around our community's access to chlorine-free water.
I'd just say equitable access to safe chlorine-free water, and just noting that other parts of the city do have it. But also when I say safe chlorine-free water, like there's a suggestion in the feedback that chlorine-free water isn't safe, so we wouldn't want that. We'd never install a chlorine-free water station that isn't safe and treated, right? So we can clear that up right now. They are absolutely safe. But yeah, I mean, right now we do not have equitable access to water like other parts of the city.
Yeah.
So I think
Play with the word.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. But I think it's a totally appropriate thing to have in the vision statements because it's something that all wards need access to, not just ours.
And then we've spoken about the wording of the 9 priorities, and actually do we reframe that to, you know, as we introduce them, that they're specific projects identified as needing projects, or 3 projects per ward identified as needing projects. You've kind of spoken about acknowledging what we already know of the community. So some of the work is already happening. So lots of what the community spoke about in their submissions is already happening. But it is so important that it sits at the fore of what we're doing. The community wellbeing, social connection, the board feels that this is already business as usual for the board, and what the board delivers or supports community organisations to deliver. So want to emphasise at the board and not wanting to neglect that. So we will find somewhere in some words to acknowledge that. But that these are the projects
You mentioned
that are important to
community priorities, the visions.
Yes, yeah. So in the vision, yeah. So I've got adding, if it's already there, something around managing growth, social isolation, and acknowledge the community vision.
In the line, I guess I would go back up a wee bit. In the supporting the physical, social, emotional well-being of all residents, I just wonder if at the end of that should be something along the lines of supporting our community facilities and spaces.
Events as well.
Yeah, like so there will have been community groups at facilities or clubs who have read that and be like, oh, where are we in this?
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, facilities and
This
spaces.
thing I could have sworn there was in there. Read it again, it's not.
Well, I read it twice. Thinking, hold on. Have I missed this?
Bailey,
but
could
yeah.
you put the screen that you're referring to now? Can I see it?
But I mean, that's really helpful for me, and I feel like I can go away and have that ready for the meeting. Is there anything else?
Can we just check the Dunbar's Road one? Did they accurately capture about the missing footpath and the width and so forth that some of the people submitted about? Because one of the things I picked up, it was probably at least 5 of those submissions talked about the connections for people getting to and from Hornby, which is a variety of things. It's not just Amy's Road renewal or the Awatea Road intersection. It's actually looking at that as a corridor, going how do people get through it? And I just don't recall, because it was a number of months ago, if it mentioned about the paths.
So
As it should, it's part of the renewal.
Dunbar's Road requires renewal to improve safety, accessibility and resilience. Its current condition presents ongoing maintenance challenges and does not adequately support existing or future use. Upgrading the road will enhance safety of all road users and ensure the corridor meets the growing need. So, and then it has advocate for the prioritization, request staff updates on the project scope, ensure the renewal. So we could add something that needed specifically.
Yeah, that'd be good. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess each end of Dunbar's Road has very, very different issues needing renewed. Yeah.
Well, and a bit in the middle is missing.
So for Dunbar's, it's just specifically adding in the footpaths.
Well, it's about the space that's not on the road as well.
It's like the Halswell side's just got like the 80-year-old curb and channel and whatnot, and no space on the road for barely vehicles, let alone cyclists.
Yeah.
But the other end, it's like it's missing a path that connects Wigram with Halswell. And there's no safely to cross the road.
One of Dunbar's is a rural goat track.
Yeah.
The other is actually got a curb and channel footpath.
Yeah, well, curb and channel on one side at least, yeah.
We still have signs up about horses.
Like,
seriously, I've never seen a horse along there.
So we're just ensuring that the scope of the renewal includes everything within that corridor.
Yeah, I guess it's looking at it as it's kind of the integration of Amy and Dunbar's and Awatea.
Everything besides the middle part, roundabout and crossing is sorted.
And it's very good.
That's sorted.
Near the middle part.
I cross to get to school every day.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't think
But you survived.
Sarah, did you have a question?
Well, no, I walked
on
through
the
West Side going to Oakland.
specifically?
No, I'm just trying to take it all in. Just like, I mean, it's off Awatea Road. But like Wilmers Road, Cody and Mark, what the footpath for that street, is that sorted or no?
Not yet.
No, that's dropped down to like 40th or something on the priority list. Yeah, it is concerning because we've got basically an emergency services precinct forming there. We've already got fens, and St. John is moving there, and it floods regularly. There's rubbish dumped, it looks like a tip, and so on. And there's no footpath.
Beckawara Park.
Yeah,
in the winter time for sports fields.
Park, so just big puddles.
I was told it's fine for another 30 years. It was about 5 years ago.
It's okay.
So we've got another 25.
Yeah. Because I remember getting told like 4 years ago that was getting fixed.
That's
just the leveling out at least.
No. And potholes maintenance concern.
That's terrible.
It is.
That's probably that's a route that heavy vehicles have to use because they're not allowed to go through Little Gem. And there's also almost all of the businesses in the Kaitoa business park now also filled out as well. So it's not going to get any better anytime soon.
It's also heavily used for recreation.
It is.
Is that something for plan?
Yeah. Yeah, it probably would go into that one.
It's one of the bullet points I had up.
So is this additional
projects
point already under
Which one?
or not?
It's hard to know how big the scope is and what we're.
Say under the footpath one.
Staff advice on
road
the
as well. The third
on
one
the
down.
priorities. I can't find it.
Because if you do the footpath, you do the curb and channeling,
No.
whatever else.
It's listed as missing footpaths, Rumors Road.
Oh,
There
it just
was,
got dropped off the list somehow. Because it was there.
It was there.
Your email.
Look at my original, that Rumors Road was the last one, which now steeper.
Are you meaning
Okay,
that?
so where am I? Forming transport. I've noted it down.
Heading.
Yeah.
No, Bailey mentioned there's staff advice on them. I just can't find it.
And I just acknowledge what Andre said as well earlier about the priorities in the footpath program. We've heard really clearly from Hornby residents that the Woolworths corner is the top priority. And yeah, we'll need extra money for it. But I mean, the top one that actually came up was Awatea Road, I think. Yeah, it was at least in the top 5, 2 sections, and they looked at that and they went,
How did that make the list?
the model actually looked fine, but the outcome from it was completely unexpected.
It was.
What are you talking about?
Awatea
Are you
Road.
talking about the Hornby resident survey?
No, we're talking about the.
The priorities.
I mean, the way that the staff prioritize it really didn't line
It
up.
was Awatea 2 and 3 or something.
Yeah,
Correct.
us having it as one of 3 priorities had no impact whatsoever on the ranking, and I've got that in writing as well. It played no part.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, okay, we need to be really careful with what's going in here.
Yeah,
They're either specific or they're not.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Because I mean, if we had in there, connecting the areas with things of footpaths, it's like, okay, it can still be measured with progress. It's like, okay, no, now there's a budget for that. Good. But that budget doesn't necessarily need to
Well, it's missing
rank the ward who had it as a priority, right? So
there's one going in on Shands Road at the moment outside the Woolworths distribution centre, for example, and you could look at that.
they got the wrong Woolworths.
You could tick the the wrong Woolworths corner. You could tick that off and go, hey, we built a footpath, but I think development funded, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, or built as well.
So
No, so the staff advice I was talking to about the water stations.
This is
Oh,
That we were,
I was meaning that.
yeah, no,
but
but
not.
when I said the staff advice, that wasn't advice on this.
People go
That was just previous advice that had already been circulated separate to the board plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there isn't staff advice on these 9.
It's not the advice yet.
Okay.
The,
Will that come for the?
well, it'll come once it's approved and then we send it to the teams and say, hey, these
Okay.
are priorities.
Yeah.
They have been sent to the heads of units as a,
Yeah.
hey, the board are
Heads up.
thinking of
Gotcha.
approving these.
Okay.
If they had come back and said, big red flag, then I would have come to you and given advice.
They haven't alerted any red flags.
No red flags. So
All right.
We got the Hornby High School one.
pardon.
We got the Hornby High one. It was the last meeting. We got the Keir crossing.
Hey,
Oh, so you're going to say it's a red flag?
No, we're going to tick it off.
All right. Well, there you go.
Orange flag.
Take it off.
Yes, yeah.
It's a green tick.
Okay.
Can I just ask a question? And it's not, I'm just asking, I think, on Debbie's behalf, because I think this is what she was getting at before. So when the board plan is signed off and it's released and we'll put it on our board page, will there be any sort of explanation? This was the draft plan that went out, this is the finalised plan we've got here because, we've looked at what people have said about the chlorine stations and we've looked at, the need for them and that it's already been worked up. Will there be any kind of explanation like that go with?
Yeah, well, we recognise that it's already been discussed. It's already been earmarked at council. So,
or would we just put the plan on the board page as
Just
is, hey,
put-
this is the final
I
plan?
think just put the plan.
Well, it's up to the board. The board has its board page, which is your board page. So if you wanted to have some comms around it, then we can do that. Otherwise, we can just put the
Yeah.
plan.
Well, I mean, it's in the vision,
Yeah.
but we'll, I mean, I like how you've worded it on the vision thing, but between now and then, if something was finalised, the advice will come back with an update. We'll be able to get an update on that as part of this annual plan process as to where the station's budget is and what's on track and what's not.
Yeah.
I
I wasn't able to find it.
We'll get we might be able to get an update this Thursday if we've got a
I
briefing.
think,
But there is budget there.
as a standard in the websites, when we put out documents, we don't just put out documents like that. We just at least have some intro, some blurb
There is.
there
Mhm.
to talk about it, so we can mention something about that.
So is that what you want,
Just a
Debbie?
brief.
Is that what you were after, Debbie? Some sort of?
Sorry, I was busy sneezing. What was that was said?
Thank you for muting yourself.
Are you wanting some sort of explanation?
He
as
suggested
to-
we just put the board plan
Plan.
there, but I'm suggesting that we include just a wee blurb or
How we,
something.
how,
Yeah.
why
How is it-
the
Yes.
draft changed to the final plan?
Yeah, that we realised that it's already been earmarked and
Yes,
discussed.
Yeah, so, is that all right?
So we're not losing sight of the chlorine-free station because it's going to be advantageous for the whole
Well-
of the southwest.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
we've almost promoted it to a vision, haven't we?
Yeah, yeah. It's actually been elevated.
Mm.
Do we have Joseph online?
No.
Okay.
No,
Helen, have we accurately captured,
Riccarton.
you know, the Riccarton concerns? Because we talked a lot about Halswell-Hornby, probably because we're here. Just
Yes.
wondering your thoughts.
Well, we've got something in the vision statement which I compiled with Bailey, and that really is about, I think, what's going to happen in Riccarton is a lot of our time is going to be taken with people having problems with large housing, if you like, or tall and large housing. So yeah, so we haven't got so many projects as such, but we've got this overall stuff that I think we'll have to do. Yeah, no, I'm comfortable with Riccarton, and in terms of, I mean, Tyler's got the issue of what are we going to do out around the south, around the Stockburn corner there.
Yeah.
We
that
haven't
means
got
we're gonna
that down, have we? I mean,
you mean the Stockburn roundabout, Helen?
yes, and that large bit of land which is owned
Yeah.
by council.
Because there's a number
But-
of parks in there, and there's been groups that have come through and talked to us about Taggart Park and a couple of others.
Geez.
The old Southburn Service Centre site.
Yes, round there. There's, and I don't, and the other thing that someone mentioned is about, do we have sports facilities for the future?
Yeah.
And I don't think we probably do have enough in 20 years' time. And I'm quite concerned about that Templeton area. I'd like it to be half cemeteries, half sport. But I'd have to get, we'd have to get information on.
It is.
No, it's a quarter sport and three quarters cemeteries. So it's just a subtle shift.
Okay.
But
No,
I
don't
think
it
I'd
is.
have.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I think they'll probably be fine for a while.
I think
Helen.
it's
It's probably more of a
from
concern
our
for
board.
Riccarton.
Yeah, so just to touch on sport fields though, because it was mentioned, like there is
Yes.
a big strain at the moment. If we looked at our city boundaries, there aren't really sites to acquire and turn into sport fields that we're going to be able to get within our city boundaries.
Yes, I know.
We've basically exhausted it.
I know.
The ones we have. So the priorities, as I see it, is making sure our current facilities are playable all year round. So some of that work is underway. Tools of Domain's getting upgraded at the moment. They're building new turfs at Ngā There's still more room for expansion at Ngā But long term, yeah, there will be a sport field shortage. But it's probably going to be a matter of us actually working with Selwyn on that around Prebilton Ways.
Yes, I mean, I think because we are going to merge, we will merge with Selwyn, won't we? I mean,
Well,
that's going to happen, I would say.
Possibly, probably.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, new space sport fields is going to have to be part of the equation. But we've already got Templeton in our city boundaries. There isn't anywhere else to secure and
That's right. Yeah.
for sport fields. So it's really going to be probably around that Prebilton area. That's going to have to be addressed when if and when we merge. So right now, our priority, as I said, needs to be making sure our surfaces are playable all year. Some of our surfaces are unusable throughout winter, for much of it.
Yeah.
So, so that's what the sports field network plans for. And all boards are really supportive of that.
All right.
But it is mentioned in our vision statement as well, which is important.
Yeah.
There is anything burning that needs to be shared, get in touch with me tomorrow. Otherwise, we'll bring this to you in May. Thank you very much. It's really helpful.
Thanks, mate.
Great.
You can send this one
Thank
out,
you.
the
Thank
draft.
you.
Thanks. Thank you.
And we're
Oh,
going
is that-
offline.
Is that us done?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thanks very much,
Thank
Bailey
you.
Faye.
Thank you.
Doris is 7 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly. My wife would